It's Evan. We did not record last week because Lego Horizon. Ted, my man. What's going on? The critically acclaimed film by Seth MacFarlane. Ted.
Or Ted Lasso, the incredible Apple TV show.
Ted Lasso is not a good show.
Yes, it is.
Nope.
Thank you, Taylor.
I watched 4 episodes and I wanted to stop.
That's actually psycho.
Amen.
Taylor said, "You know what? This show is too feel good. I can't believe I have positive feelings while watching a show.
I just don't think it's funny."
That's not true. How can you not laugh at Ussie?
I love The Office, but I don't like Ted Lasso. People say I'm just crazy for that.
You are crazy.
Okay. Anyway, my name is Taylor, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Brianna, as you just heard, and Sam. You're listening to No Limits, episode 97, PlayStation podcast. Maybe I'll be consistent one day and say you're listening to No Limits, episode 97, or a PlayStation podcast, No Limits, episode 97.
I feel like I'm having a stroke. What's happening?
Well, remember, you can find more of that at with the video version of this podcast over on youtube.com/SeeHowTheGameMedia every Tuesday. While you're over there, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you'd rather listen to audio, we are on all your favorite podcast services, and we would love it if you could leave us a review. It helps us grow, and we would love any feedback. If you want to support us and get early access to all Save the Game Media content, head over to patreon.com/SeeHowTheGameMedia and choose the tier that's right for you. Just like our current patrons did: Fabulous Brianna, Brianna's mom, Brianna's brother, Lindsay, Nikolai, Knight, Cypher, Primus, Brendan Myers, Marcus O'Neill, Lillian, Mimi J, David Hotbright, Dave Harp, the Xbox Expansion Pass, Alpaca Tom, Lee Navarro, and Sol Cannon. Also, join our Discord, links all in the show notes.
You forgot one.
We have a new one?
Yeah, Ellery, right?
Thank you for catching me. Toph, I don't want to hear a commentary, Toph.
It's what's the, hold on, I got it on my list. Ellery Woods Parker III.
Thank you, Ellery. Oh, yeah, there we go. Ellery Woods Parker III. Adding it right now. That's an amazing, that's a pretty regal name, is it not?
Yeah. For a minute, I was convinced that it was Sam.
Yeah, being British.
Maybe we should have Sam read that one.
Okay, Sam, read it, or you're off the show.
Dance, monkey, dance. Ellery Woods Parker III.
See.
There we go. Thanks, Oxford. Okay. If I start calling British people Oxford and Cambridge, I think they'll really like me.
Yeah.
You know a lot of British people?
I had a professor who's British. He's in the U.S., but he studied his undergrad at Oxford, grad at Cambridge. No joke.
Okay, so the answer was no?
I know.
What? Hang on a minute.
I like the Brits. Those people.
Wait. So you're saying he's just a guy that actually is American but studied in England?
No, he's an English man who studied in England and then moved to America for the professor job.
Okay, that qualifies then. I was going to be like, just because you study here, that doesn't make you English. But okay.
That's what you think.
Thank you for clearing out.
What if I get citizenship? Okay. Anyway, how you guys doing?
Pretty good.
All things considered.
Sam, how are you?
Fine.
Yeah, good.
I'm fine.
You're awake?
I'm fine.
I'm awake.
We've been talking at him for an hour now, almost exactly, and he's really he can't listen to us anymore.
Yep.
That's it. I feel like I've had my fill already.
And this is why he's the daddy of the podcast.
Spent a good portion of the day so far with family, obviously for Father's Day.
They celebrate Father's Day today in Britain too? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This is my confusion: is why is Mother's Day a different day, but Father's Day is the same day?
because men are more important, and we're more uniform.
I always thought Mother's Day was on. Wait, what do you mean? They're on the second, third weeks of. Was Mother's Day always on June 10th? Or no, what is it on?
What are you talking about? Mother's Day was like a month and a half ago.
You're right. What does Mother's Day? Yeah, but it's always the second Sunday in May, isn't it? And Father's Day is always
for them.
Oh.
Mother's Day is on a different day for us.
Yeah, because don't you remember we asked him if he celebrated it with his mother, and he's like, yeah, like a month ago. And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yep. So you've been playing Redacted?
Yeah, something I can't talk about. Gears of War 7. That's what I've been playing.
There's not even a 6th.
Yeah. Went straight past E-Day and just straight 7.
E-Day, I hardly know her.
I don't get it. Can you explain that one to me?
No, we don't have. We don't need to go into that. We don't need to.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Just making sure that you didn't know what you said either.
Making an emergence hole there, Taylor. Are you? Is that what you're talking about?
Sam, don't. Getting this pretty explicit right now.
Okay, all right.
Well, this is again why he's the daddy of the podcast.
What else have I been playing? I've played a little bit of Mafia 2, actually.
Mafia.
I dived back into that because that was a classic that I remember from my teenage years playing on PC.
The remaster.
The definitive edition or whatever it's called. Playing the original version through Steam years and years ago. So played some of that. I also dove into a few of the VR2 games that they gave away in the Days of Play thing for PS Plus Premium.
Nice.
So what's it called? Synth Riders, which is a Beat Saber type rhythm game. That's pretty fun. There was a golf one that I tried very briefly. Didn't really stick with that. But I've got the next Walking Dead Saints and Sinners game, the second one, that's lined up. I haven't dove into that yet. Is there anything else that I've been playing?
Any eBay haul?
Oh, yes, actually. Where is it? Only one. But I...
Wait, can I guess?
Go on. Try and guess.
What platform? Wait, just give me that.
It's N64, Taylor.
Sam, which PlayStation console?
PS5, Taylor.
Okay. You got. So it's probably a game you haven't played. So
or he really loves. You never know.
You got.
Mail.
You got.
Chlamydia.
Sam, that's not good to joke about. The Order 18, it's PS5. Nope. You got.
You already got the order.
Bree pays attention.
Thank you.
What did you get? What game at? You got Life is Strange or something. Sure, let's go with that.
No, that was True Colors, one I also got a few weeks back, Taylor. You wouldn't have guessed this ever. But I picked up Subnautica Below Zero.
I would have not guessed that at all.
Nope. Yeah, because I'm actually surprisingly a very big fan of the base game, and I've never played Below Zero. So
do you have to be cold while you play it?
I live in the UK, so it's really the most immersive place I could live to play it.
It is not.
I feel like the UK is not that cold.
No, it gets like. Sam, how many days this past year were you in the below 0 degrees Celsius? That's 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's been 84 years. I don't know. Probably not really ever. But we don't need to be facetious and get into the semantics of things. I'm saying that on average, the UK is a lot cooler than wherever the hell you guys are right now. You know?
Nope.
So no, I'm not slap bang pushed up in the middle of Antarctica. I'm sorry.
You should be.
But
Jesus.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, to be honest, you guys don't have tornadoes, which is enough to convince me.
Yeah.
Don't tornadoes so far. So far.
So, ooh. Wink, wink,
I'm not
nudge, nudge.
saying I want that to happen. I'm saying Britain's declining, just like the rest of us.
The
government's going to cause tornadoes.
If you say so, Taylor, we'll run with that. We'll run with that. But yeah, the main thing I'm playing, I can't speak about yet. So that's all I can give you, I'm afraid.
Okay. Bree?
I have played literally nothing.
Literally nothing. New game from Big Mode.
No, I mean, the game that I am playing is Nine Souls, but I haven't played it at all in the past 7 days. To be fair, I was also reading my big fan fiction, which then I got a huge reading hangover from, and I was really upset that I'd finished it, and I almost cried about finishing it. So it was really good.
Well, good for you.
If anybody's into fan fiction, let me know. I'll tell you the name of it.
Not me.
Not me.
That's why I said if anybody is, you can join the Discord and I'll let you know. There's a Book Bonanza channel. Yeah. We can talk there. Okay, I won't get made fun of by these chuckleheads.
Wow. The closest I get is reading SCP Wiki articles. Yeah.
That's not very close.
Just read books. Or fan fiction. You guys, do you see that there's going to be a new Dark Souls manga?
I did see that.
I'm cool. Looking forward to that so much. I already pre-ordered it. It was exactly what I was looking for out of fan fiction, where it's like a character goes through the Dark Souls journey. I'm so thrilled about it.
Nice. Well, as for me, I've been watching a lot of Twin Peaks for the first time. Control got me in the mood. Twin Peaks is one of the weirdest shows I think I've seen.
I've only watched a couple episodes and I couldn't really get into it. I don't know if I just was not in the right kind of mood to watch it, but
it's a weird show. It's off. I know. And I think it's weird too. Sam, you've seen any Twin Peaks?
Of course. I'm pretty sure I was suggesting it to you.
Okay.
A little while back when you started playing Control.
Okay. Yeah, but the inspiration to Alan Wake is very apparent.
Mm-hmm.
Small northwestern town has some crazy stuff happen. One of my coworkers has a photo of Nick Cage and a picture of a girl at his desk, like a high school headshot. And I've only realized now it's the framed picture of Laura Palmer from Twin Peaks.
There you go.
So I'm going to walk up to him next week and say, "Did you kill Laura Palmer?"
I'm not sure how well that's going to go down, but you can try.
Yeah. Also, all the actors who are playing the teens are definitely in their late 20s at the time of filming, so it's pretty funny watching a 30-year-old woman say, "I'm only 17. We have to go to third period next." I'm like, "Girl, you're older than me."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it is. I guess Degrassi made that apparent too. In Drake's great acting role. Anyway, more Control. Not much, but more Control. I'm now in Ordinary. The real ones will know what that means. And I've been using Charge a bit more and a bit more of Spin. And I maxed out my launch abilities. Now I can throw 3 objects at a time and do a lot of damage. And it's great.
That sounds like a great time.
Its Control is now at least in my top 10. By the time I finish it, I wonder if it'll crack my top 5 games ever. It is. There's never been better things to read in a video game for me than reading all the files in Control.
Interesting.
It does have like they do really, really good like immersive storytelling.
Yes.
Diegetic storytelling.
Yeah. Yep. Toph, I know you like the game too. I know. So I'm going to go more through that. I'm going to go through more of that and then play the DLC and then put it down. And then, oh yeah, remember I said I was going to play Animal? Well, guys, my car had a major issue a few weeks ago where my wheel tire got stolen and I had to relocate where I parked my car. And all of it resulted in Taylor has to pay a lot of money. So I tabled the PlayStation Plus purchase for now. But I might have to pick it back up because the prospect of playing Elden Ring without having my save data backed up scares me.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So who knows when I'll play Animal Well, Sam? But I think after Control, I'll play Elden Ring. DLC has me in the mood.
Okay.
And I'll probably be playing Elden Ring for like a year, knowing my pace. Probably a year and a half before I finish the whole game in the DLC.
It seems like a big DLC. So, I mean, knowing how I covered the base game, I'll probably end up burning through it. But time will tell. Time will tell.
Taylor will not burn through it.
It will take him a year. Yeah, probably.
At best. I mean, it took him. Breath of the Wild was 5, so.
Breath of the Wild took me 5 years. Maybe it was 6.
And I think it's easy to say Elden Ring is bigger than Breath of the Wild.
And they did say, right?
Started and stopped. Sorry.
They did say that Erdtree was going to be the biggest DLC they've ever done, right?
Something like that.
So. Some fancy words like that.
Yeah.
Yep. They said we're doubling the size of the map and then again. So it's actually quadruple the size.
16 times the detail.
I really don't need that much game.
I do. I will take whatever From Software will give me.
You're gonna get a. What if they gave you?
Step on me, From Software.
What if they gave you a steak knife and some kitchenware? Would you buy it?
Yeah.
Toph. Stop it.
But you can't gift knives though, so it'd have to be for myself.
You can't gift. Why can't you gift a knife?
Because in Japanese culture, if you gift somebody a knife, you're severing the relationship with them.
Well, I've been dating a Japanese girl, and I was about to give her a new chef's knife, so maybe I shouldn't do that, Bree.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't.
Toph. Shh. I'll have to mute my mic.
No, let her talk. She's part of the podcast.
She's part of the podcast.
It's ambient noise. Just like Ted.
Yeah. Anyways. Ambiance. Evanescence.
What is the other aluminium?
Okay.
That's the one that drives me crazy.
Okay, Toph.
That's how it's spelled.
Aluminium?
Aluminum.
No, it's aluminium.
It's aluminum.
Look up the spelling.
Mario.
N-I-U-M at the end. N-I-U-M.
I know you are, but what am I?
This isn't some gotcha moment. What language are you speaking right now, guys? English? Oh dear, it looks like
I'm speaking Sugandese.
I'm not falling for that.
Okay. Speaking of Sugandese, we're going to be changing the show format up going forward to more being topic-based than news-based. We found ourselves, at least myself and Bree, especially me, found ourselves getting distracted because we're little,
And I look like I'm distracted now, but I promise me crocheting is me focused.
No, all good. I would Toph is my version of this. I guess I have to field her while I'm podcasting.
Mm-hmm. Sam was perfect, though.
Yep, Sam is perfect.
We changed nothing about him besides his poor sense of humor, but we can't do much about that.
It's weird. It kind of feels like I make everybody laugh pretty consistently, which is strange. But
I make some good jokes.
Yeah, life is strange.
Sam, you never laugh at my jokes, so
isn't that a bit of an indictment?
no, it's just you being mean to me, which is what you think is funny.
Fair enough.
I made a really funny dad joke the other day, you guys.
All right, what was it?
It was really hot in the office. And I said, oh my God, I am not a fan of this heat. And I said, but if I was, I'd be cool.
I love it. Did everyone laugh?
It was only me and Arandi, and she shook her head at me and she goes, Brianna.
No AC?
But I was laughing really hard. No, there was AC. But I was just, it was completely unplanned for, to be completely honest. So I was laughing really hard because, you know.
Gotcha.
Also, just in case you need to use a new pun, I found out. So, new pun, July, right? The month. You can say Julying.
What?
Like you're lying, but Julying, like the month.
Okay. All right.
Just in case somebody needs to use that.
What? Oh my God.
So, just to get you guys ready for July. Just trying to help.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
No, thank you.
I know you need it, Sam, since you're not very funny.
No, Okay. Before this turns into verbal abuse
It already is.
There's a couple things that we did not talk about last week that I at least wanted to bring up before we jump into our tier list of PlayStation developers. Tier list PlayStation.
Wow, spoiler alerts.
So guys, Lego Horizon is real. And it's coming out holiday 2024, including Switch and PC. What are your thoughts? Are you going to play it?
I don't think I'll play it. I think it looked really cute. I don't normally play Lego games. So I think that's the only reason why I'm not going to. But it did look really, really cute.
Well, you know me. I'm a big Lego game fan, and I'm a big Horizon fan. So yes,
He's gonna platinum it.
You're goddamn right. I'm going to. Okay. Here's the thing: Lego games traditionally aren't very grindy. They're not grindy, but they require like 2 playthroughs because you have to play through the story and then you have to go back through all the levels again with access to every character that you've unlocked and use new abilities to access new areas and get the collectibles and stuff. That doesn't look, this Lego Horizon Adventures doesn't look like a traditional Lego game. It's much more like in a very weird way, it's reminding me quite a lot of Hades in terms of perspective, combat. It's like a top-down thing rather than a third-person-esque action thing, which most Lego games are. And also from the brief stuff we've seen, it doesn't appear to be like a collectathon thing either. It's much more a linear narrative game, retelling with quirks as Lego games do the story of Zero Dawn and having some like base building elements in there that you go back to a hub. So I don't really know what to expect. I think, well, none of us knew what to expect when they said there was a Lego Horizon game coming. And this certainly wasn't what I expected, even though I didn't really know what to expect. But clearly they must think they're onto something. Horizon is an IP that fits very naturally with Lego, I would say.
I would agree.
So I'll be very interested to see how this does. I would imagine this is going to sell very well, probably.
Yeah, I think it'll sell well. I think it's like around the holiday season. I think it looks like it'll be fun. I think that it allows kids to play like a Horizon, kind of game. And I think adults will
Yeah.
be playing it too. So I see this being very successful.
Because
Maybe not as
it gives
successful
off
as
the vibe
Astrobot.
of it gives off the vibe of a game that will play best on a portable device.
Yes.
So Switch is like logical conclusion. And also, again, not that we have to get into it, but Xbox isn't really competition now. So it makes sense that certainly this year, at the very least, Sony is sort of steering their attention towards the Nintendo audience more.
Yeah. Well, are we going to now have the Horizon characters on Smash?
They said
They said they want that.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Then again, characters that have appeared on Smash that I would say made no sense and I would never have guessed. So possibly, and also there's people saying that like because this game is coming to Switch, that means that like tons of PlayStation games or like the Horizon games are going to be on Switch too.
I don't think
No,
so.
I don't. Not I guess, but I don't see that happening. I think it's just that this is a very unique melding of situations where there is licensing going on with Lego. They probably wanted it to be on Switch, Lego, and the capitulation that they gave to Sony is that it wouldn't be on Xbox.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'm assuming happened, is that Sony were like, fine, it can go on Switch, but you can't put it on an Xbox. So I think you'll again. Could this open the door to more games? I guess I'm not going to completely shut that door and screw myself in the future if that thing does end up happening.
I don't think it'll be like the major like PlayStation game, right?
No.
We're not going to see like. Actually, I was going to say we're not going to see Returnal, but I could actually see Returnal going on Switch. I don't think we're going to see like Last of Us and stuff like that moving over to Switch. No. But I think that like some of the games that are like more compatible with the Switch, I don't see why not.
Yeah. I definitely don't see something like Astro going over though, even though that would like fit with the audience very well.
Yeah, I don't think Nintendo would let it.
And also I think like the incentive is there for Sony to keep that theirs and be like, you want this game that's hopefully as good as any 3D Mario, you've got to come to us. And that's how they can, via a future handheld or via the PS5 or the Pro or whatever, they can draw in those additional audiences from other ecosystems.
Yeah, it just feels like that game is too close to like Mario Odyssey or Galaxy. So
exactly.
I don't think there's any way that Nintendo would be like, yeah, that's cool. Go ahead.
Yeah. You playing it, Taylor?
No. I have not played Horizon ever.
That's crazy.
I will eventually, maybe. Probably not. Maybe. But Elden Ring has to come first, guys. So actually, let me say this. If you gave me the choice between experiencing both Horizon games or beating Elden Ring in the DLC, I choose Elden Ring in the DLC 50 times over.
Damn.
Not that I don't think Horizon is good.
No.
From Software.
Actually, I shouldn't be making these comparisons. All right. I just want to play Elden Ring right now. After Control. Well, then there's Alan Wake 2.
There is.
Oh, boy.
You're in a real kerfuffle there, Taylor.
Save Alan Wake 2.
I don't know what I want to do about Alan Wake 2 because I kind of want to play it, but I also really hated the first one.
Just wait until the winter sale when it's like half price.
That's fair.
Yeah. I got my physical copy pre-ordered of Alan Wake 2. Can't wait for it.
The stupid edition?
No, God, no. Again, it's the same thing that put me off of the Outer Wilds collector's edition. It's the shipping that just screws me because I'm paying like essentially 50% on top of the purchase price just to ship it. And it's just I can't justify that.
My Outer Wilds edition should be coming soon.
You got it? Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to show it off.
I'm going to.
I also have to beat the Outer Wilds DLC one day.
Same.
Actually,
I'm
as
too
a team
scared.
building activity, like we were talking, Sam, one day I should screen share and say, Sam, tell me what to do.
I
That'll be a
agree.
great bonding moment.
I would never dare to rob you of the joy of naturally
I
uncovering
don't know
you're
what to
doing in
do.
Outer
I've been
Wilds.
stuck in the same weird flooded canoe place, DLC place for like hours.
Okay, maybe I will have to give you a nudge. I'm not just going to
Yeah.
overtly tell you what to do.
I never needed it in the base game at all, and I was so proud of that. But right now I feel like I'm at an impasse.
I know what to
Okay.
do, and now I'm so scared that I can't.
Bree, do you think I could figure it out myself?
Yeah, I figured it out.
So okay. Is the insinuation if I can do it, you can?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Was that not the point of your question? You asked, can Bree do it? And she said yes. It was like, well, surely you were asking so that if Bree could do it, then you could probably do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taylor's so much smarter than me.
Believe in yourself, Taylor.
He's a guy. Men are just
my-
naturally
that's how it
smarter.
works.
Oh my god.
They have bigger brains. So
That's so true.
Yeah.
Absolute chat.
How big is a whale's brain?
I don't know.
Pretty big.
What if it's really small?
I would be surprised.
Guess we'll never know. There's no way of finding out. Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say no way, but
Also, actually, Sam, you want to take away the next one because you're the resident Alan Wake loser. Alan Wake 2 loser.
Sure, yeah. So obviously there was no recording last week, but the whole Summer Games Fest period has concluded. And one of the announcements we got was that Alan Wake 2's Night Spring DLC, as of time of recording, is certainly out now and has been for a week or two, with a physical release coming this fall. That means both physical deluxe and collector's editions. You can pre-order through pretty much every retailer, as far as I'm aware. But if you want the collector's edition, you will have to go through a limited run. So in terms of the Night Springs DLC, quote, the first expansion for Alan Wake 2 brings 3 new episodes featuring some familiar characters as they experience the unexplainable, end quote. Continuing on, while similar to previously known characters, they are different. Night Springs versions of themselves. Become the time breaker, manipulating time to rewrite your destiny. Embrace the cosmic mysteries as the North Star and unravel secrets that defy reason. Or channel your inner obsession as the #1 fan, fighting the shadows in pursuit of truth and love. End quote. Did either of you do you know anything about this DLC? Have you watched a trailer or anything?
I mean, I was doing the live react for Summer Games Fest. So.
I know
sure, but
it's
like
episodic, and it follows characters through scenarios in Night Springs, tidbits from.
Yeah, but it follows characters from like other games, right?
Oh.
Yes, I will avoid spoilers because it seems Taylor is a bit more in the dark. They are, let's say, Taylor, that clearly with this DLC, and presumably you would imagine the Lake House whenever that arrives later this year, hopefully, they are certainly bringing everything together in a far more connected way than they already have.
Oh, and the Lake House is the house. The Lake House is the house that Alan goes to write his novel in the first game, or is this a different house?
I mean, we don't know exactly, because all we really have for that second DLC is a title and a very brief description. But
okay. Anyway, go ahead.
Based off of Alan Wake 2, I would assume it is referencing that house, but there are technically other options that
The oldest house. The oldest house is the Lake House. Maybe there's a threshold in the oldest house for the Lake House.
You're asking the right questions, Taylor.
Thanks. Please be excited.
Yeah, I've yet to play it, but I am chomping at the bit. It will be one of the first things I do when I get a little speckle of free time. Apparently, according to Kevin, it only takes 3-4 hours to beat totally, which is great.
Really?
Yeah. They're all quite bite-sized little episodes, so that's fine by me. I think the beauty of Remedy is when they keep things scoped well, relatively bite-sized, don't outstay their welcome. And that seems to be what this DLC has done. It's been received relatively well. Got us some good points on Fantasy Critic there, Taylor. So I'm looking forward to playing, but I have not yet.
Fair enough. All right. On to the main event.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Share your screen, Father.
How do I do this?
You press the share button.
Share.
That's fair. Yeah.
Screen.
Share. Yeah. I understand.
And then click the tab, or you can share your desktop. I would go with the tab.
Okay. Are we in? Are we done? Is it working?
Not yet.
Oh dear. Okay. I'm
If you're-
clicking the thing.
If you're having difficulties, you can send us the link. One of us can do it.
It is Taylor. Believe in me.
You're right.
Got this. Okay. I got it working. I think I've got it working. Are we in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Whoa.
we've assembled a tier list. I have all of the little icons here for all the studios, all the relevant studios. I've also included.
What does relevant mean?
Well, like there's
God,
like much smaller studios like Sony X country studio, but they're all very, very minor support teams and localization stuff. So I've brought in the big guys as well as the main support teams, because I think that they're still relevant in the conversation and just will spice up our takes a little bit more. So we have, of course, PS Plus as the top tier, the S tier, but of course it is PS Plus. So I thought that was pretty funny. And then we have A, B, C, and D or below.
See, look, Sam can be funny when he wants.
I am funny all the time. It's
Hi, funny.
I'm dad. Yeah, these are in random order, but we might as well. Do you want to just go along? Like, I guess it doesn't really matter, right?
No, you can pick whatever.
We'll go along. We'll go along. So first up, for people that don't know, because this team technically isn't even announced yet, we have Jason Blundell of Call of Duty Zombies fame, previously at Deviation, but that obviously collapsed after they announced they were partnering in 2021, I think it was, with PlayStation. That collapsed, and then we learned through LinkedIn and various other sources that there is essentially now a brand new AAA studio, unannounced, that is first party within PlayStation Studios, helmed by Jason Blundell and many other developers from Deviation, rumored to be working on a first-person shooter, which makes sense. We know nothing about the team. We don't know what they're working on, really. So where are we thinking, boys and girls?
I would say C, because I'm not cruel enough to put them at D, but we also know nothing. So.
Okay.
C or D?
That's how I
Taylor?
feel.
What are you thinking,
C
Taylor?
or D? C or D?
Make an executive choice, Taylor. We need definitives here.
What's your opinion, Sam?
So like, I guess it delves into what our criteria is, right? In terms of, because I think there are some teams on here that I could theoretically rate higher based purely on potential of the team. But I think that the key driving factor is what they have delivered thus far.
I would agree with
the
that.
track record. But I still think that like their potential can play a part in whatever decisions we make. So I think, obviously, because they have no track record, the potential is the thing that's carrying Jason Blundell. And I think that is relatively high. So I would say that probably puts him into C.
Okay.
Like technically, he does probably belong in D until they show something and have something under their belt. But I think for now, we can always shift
We
these
can always
around as we
believe in
put
the
them
heart
in.
of the cards.
Indeed, and we can shift these around if we decide later on, once we've got a few more teams in, that he needs to be bumped down. Next up, Bend Studio, of course.
B.
Siphon Filter, Uncharted Golden Abyss, most recently Days Gone.
I'm going to
B.
say I think that Bend should be a C.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Days Gone was good.
I think that Days Gone did not do well. I think that we haven't seen anything about what they're doing next, so we don't have any idea about like where they're going from here. And it's not to say that like they can't do something great in the future. I'm sure they absolutely can, but I think that they're kind of in a precarious position where they are right now.
Okay.
But Days Gone was a good game.
It ended up a good game. It didn't launch as a great game. It was in a pretty poor state. I should know. I was there day one. I played it. Obviously, I've 100%ed the game, and I do love it. I think it is a relatively underrated game overall.
It has a 6.5 out of 10 on IGN.
That is a bit rough. I would say it's probably deserving of. I could argue an 8. But I would say like a 7.5 is probably where I'd land, which is technically low, right? For PlayStation Studios, that's not really the hallmark they aim for.
Maybe B then, B for Bend.
Here's the thing though, Bree. Whilst I was assembling this, did a little bit of like, where would I put these teams? And I think I'd actually agree with you that Bend should currently go in C, because I really like Days Gone, and I think that the lineage of Bend, you know, they could potentially in the future return to Siphon Filter and give us a Splinter Cell competitor. That would be really cool. The potential is there in terms of many of the open world systems that they designed for Days Gone that they said they're carrying forward into whatever this new IP is. But I think that, like you said, for me, they are on thinner ice than most other teams right now. And their next game really does, I think, need to hit quite hard for them to feel... For me to feel confident in them and their future, but also I think for them to feel confident in themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I can only hope that like Sony is like not literally forcing them to do stuff, but like being a little bit more micromanagey to like keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Because I would hate for Bend to close.
Also, I think that you've got like John Garvin and other studio head type figures at Bend leaving after Days Gone. You know, there's clearly some internal turmoil there from the creative leadership fighting back about the fact that a sequel wasn't greenlit for Days Gone.
Plus also racism stuff.
What does their new studio leadership look like? Can they steer the ship in the right direction? We're yet to see. So I would argue a C. But
I'm okay with a C.
Taylor, you said B.
Yep. Yes, I did.
And is that purely based off of Days Gone being fondly looked back on now? Is that the reason, or
yes.
Is there something else? Okay. So maybe for now we put it in C, but we put it at the top of C.
Okay.
And it could maybe shift up to somewhere in B if we realize that C is getting a bit stacked, which I'm not expecting to. But
all right.
Blue Point
A.
For those that don't know, we might as well give the projects they've worked on. Various remakes. They did Metal Gear back on the PS3.
Metal Gear Solid HD Collection.
Yeah. Then obviously Shadow of the Colossus, most recently Demon's Souls, launch title for the PS5. All indications seem to suggest they're being quite coy about this. That they're working on original content. Haven't overtly said a new IP. So people are saying that it's going to be a new IP, but original content does leave it open for a new installment in an existing IP. Original content for that IP. So
Sam, there's a lot of games we left off. They also remastered Ico. They also did the Nathan Drake collection and Gravity
Sure.
Rush remastered.
yeah,
And the God of War collection on PS3.
they are the remaster remake studio.
Yeah.
Now I would also point out, because I think we talked about this a few weeks back, where I did I might have just put it in our Discord chat actually, where I did some digging into the financial report meeting that they did.
Mm.
And Bluepoint is technically in the hierarchy of the studios listed alongside support studios like Nix's and Valkyrie, as opposed to teams like Housemarque and Asobi and whatnot. They are delineated off, which technically, hypothetically, could relegate them to being purely like support from now on, since they've been acquired, and like ensuring that ports or whatever or remasters and remakes from other teams are in pristine condition at launch.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really know. I'm sure I can speak for all of us, we'd be very disappointed if that was the case.
Yeah.
But that is a potential possibility, and it would business wise make sense that you acquire the studio that is great at remasters and remakes in an era where your other teams are doing a lot of remasters and remakes, and you just use the expertise of that team to, much like Bungie, you bring them on for their knowledge and to support the other team's endeavors.
Yeah. Here's my thing. So I think that like my heart wants to say that Bluepoint is S tier, but I think that I like logically recognize that they're not quite there yet. I think that this next game, like if they come out with something like Demon's Souls again, where it's like that really high crisp quality, and it's a really fantastic game, then you know we're looking at like an S tier. But I think I'm happy with them in A for now. I think that Demon's Souls remake, in my opinion, cannot be undersold. Like that game is so incredible. The way that they remade that is incredibly impressive, and I think that like a lot of people that do remakes, a lot of teams that do remakes really should be looking to the way that Demon's Souls was remade, because I think that that's a true remake versus like some of the other stuff that we see where they don't really care that there's like janky controls, they don't really care that there's broken mechanics, they don't try and fix it, whereas Bluepoint, like they put their whole Bluepoint SE into it, you know.
Okay. So we're all relatively confident in A right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dope. Well done, Bluepoint.
Love them.
Gorilla, of course, Killzone,
D?
And Horizon.
Taylor, you're muted.
I said, what are you talking about, Bree? At the least, it's A.
I know, I'm just kidding. I'm just
At
messing
the
with
least.
Sam.
I took offense to my parasocial relationship with corporations.
You should.
Yeah.
Okay, I think hot take. I think Gorilla's A, not S. As someone who has not played Horizon.
Yeah, see, that's kind of hard. I think that Sam will have like a better understanding of.
It's all about Sam. Sam. Blah. Don't worry about me.
I think that Sam will have a better understanding of Gorilla as a studio since he's played their most recent stuff. Based on, I have played a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn, and I think that it was a great game. I think that Horizon, I guess Gorilla just in general always seems to be releasing around another big release, and it kind of pulls them under. And it's unfortunate that it's happened so many times in a row. I don't think that they really win any like Game of the Year awards or anything like that, just because again that they're releasing next to other stuff that's huge. So I think that Gorilla kind of keeps getting pushed down. I will say I think that like S for me feels like God tier kind of thing. So I think personally, based on my experience with Guerrilla Games, would be like the high A tier, but I also haven't played their most recent content. So I could understand if they were in an S tier and I just haven't experienced that content yet.
Yeah. What about you, Taylor?
Well, Killzone great. I haven't played Horizon. Well, I don't think I can give you an informed choice, other than I think saying confidently as an onlooker, it can't get lower than A. I think Sam would put them at S tier. Let's see what Sam says.
That's my guess as well.
You're wrong.
Oh,
I think I will admit I don't think they are far off. I think that Guerrilla, like Bree said, both in terms of when their games releases, but also just generally, are kind of weirdly written off as just the Horizon studio, which is weird. And I know that we're getting a lot of Horizon seemingly.
well, over the past 10 years, what else have they been?
Well, sure, but what I mean is the semantics around Guerrilla and Horizon are very different to like Naughty Dog and The Last of Us, which has been around even longer, right? It feels like there is Guerrilla is written off as, oh, it's just a Horizon studio, so there's just gonna be more Horizon. Whereas Naughty Dog, obviously, there's arguably a different degree of pedigree there, but still, it's like, well, there have only been 2 mainline Last of Us games. There have only been 2 mainline Horizon games, and we've gotten the 2 Horizon games in a shorter time span than we did the 2 Last of Us games.
But Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy released in between The Last of Us titles. Guerrilla hasn't done that with Killzone.
I agree.
See, I'm getting feisty. I'm going to bite you.
No, this is good. This is the discussion we want. I would say that Horizon as an IP, as a franchise, as games are massively overlooked. And that is for a number of reasons. I think
they release at horrible time.
Indeed, like Bree said, they get overshadowed, which is unfortunate. I also think that on the surface level, there is an air of like genericness to Horizon, which I think is misattributed. I don't think that's correct at all. But I do think that on the surface, it's kind of like, oh, it's a woman with a bow and she's fighting big things.
Yeah, it's like Tomb Raider.
You're taking the words out of my mouth, and
less pointy boobs though.
Well, Lara Croft's boobs in 2013 are not pointy.
That's fair.
They are round.
Only when she was cold.
And I'm not, and I don't ever stare at them when I'm playing.
Taylor,
I stare at boobs when I play games.
Whoa.
I don't ever do that. There's a scene in Metro Last Light where there's a topless dancer on you, and I, as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old guy, I was like, "Oh boy,
don't boy!" Polite into Taylor's room ever. I do think like the open world RPG-ness of Horizon does also lend into that idea of genericness, but I think if you delve into the games, they are very unique, very impressive technically, mechanically. I think Forbidden West certainly is arguably the most visually impressive console game I've ever played, and that sits alongside something recent like Hellblade 2 on Xbox. I think that for what Horizon manages to accomplish visually in an open world, the scale that it is, and it runs as smoothly as it does, they're wizards. And that is obviously the Decima engine, which you see how good it is because they gave it to Kojima, and Kojima's using it, and is still using it for probably all of his games, I would assume. Certainly Death Stranding and Death Stranding 2. So I think that the caliber the quality of the games, however much they're overlooked, the engine, the expertise, the flexibility of the devs in terms of shifting from first person shooter to third person open world RPG. They're very talented. I do think that they kind of need to wrap up Horizon mainline with the third game, and then whatever comes next, I think that is the thing that then could then elevate them to S tier. I would argue though that they go above Blue Point in A tier though.
I would agree with that.
Okay. Blue Point has not done original.
Precisely.
This is a conversation when we get to Nix's too. Do you categorically put a studio who has made an original game above a studio who has an impeccable track record remastering or porting a game? And I think the answer is still I think the answer is still yes. I think there's still you still need to have studios who are excellent at tweaking existing projects, either ports or remastering or adjusting. But I think it's harder from at the very least, a narrative point of view to make a new project. So that's why I would put those studios above.
Yep. Okay.
Anyway, what is
next
this?
up? Fire Sprites. Fire Sprites. They obviously have worked on a number of VR games thus far. They did the Playroom.
I had no idea. Oh, they did Playroom.
The Persistence. They obviously most recently did Horizon Call of the Mountain. You would assume they are now shifting away from VR. They are working on a unannounced horror title currently. They were doing as well.
Star Citizen.
Air Force Special Ops. Sam, have you heard of the game Air Force Special Ops and Nightfall?
No.
From them? They made that game. The Resistance. Whoa. This looks really cool. I never heard of these games. The Persistence. Whoops. Sorry. So is Persistence really good? It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's a very strong VR game. Yeah, very good.
How long is it?
It's like a first-person horror sci-fi roguelite, if I remember correctly. It's very impressive. One of the main sellers for the original VR headset.
Cool.
They were also doing the Twisted Metal revival, seemingly, but obviously that got cancelled. So it's just the horror game currently, as far as we all know.
Twisted Metal horror game, interesting.
No, not a Twisted Metal horror game. They're doing a horror game, and they were doing the Twisted Metal revival.
Oh, okay. Up to you. Defer to you.
I'm going to say B, but I think that it will probably end up being on the bottom end of B, where the titles they put out, even Call of the Mountain, like whilst not received crazily well, was still competent and very, very fun, I would argue. Persistence was good. So I think the caliber is there for VR. Obviously, they haven't really done anything non-VR yet, which I guess is the big question mark hanging over them.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost argue that these guys would be like high-end C.
Yeah, I can certainly see that.
Because if we're talking about like literal like grades, right? C would be like a 7 out of 10.
Nah, I put C as like average. Sorry, I guess I don't put C as like a 70% like school. And I think C, average. Well, I think an average video game is a 6
or a 7.
I think 7 is low B.
I don't play 6s. 6 is like...
Wow.
For me, 6 is like that game did not do very well.
You can thank the inflation of video game scores over the past 15 years for that, I guess.
I run off of Anime List score, but
I'm okay putting them at high top of C currently.
Well, you are the only one that's played these games. So if you think that it should be lower end B, then I think that we should definitely follow. I was just also providing my opinion. Yep.
What is this next one? Is that Firewalk?
I'll put a B for now. Yeah, Firewalk. So this is obviously a brand new team. Essentially, they're about to debut Concord in a month or so's time.
I don't think we're informed enough to know D until further notice. My opinion. I don't. They have not proven themselves. So, without the context of more information,
I mean, all we have is basically that the trailers that we've gotten for Concord, right?
Mm-hmm.
so
And we know
Concord-
that they are mainly comprised of ex-Bungie devs.
Oh,
So
I did not know that part.
The caliber is there.
Let's put them at bottom of C. They have potential, but still unproven.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'll put it below Blundell because I think Blundell FPS sounds more solid than
I
just
agree.
Bungie devs in general without a figurehead at the top.
Yeah. Although I will say, shout out to Bungie. Apparently, the final shape is, pun intended, shaping up to be like the Destiny 2's best content. It's
well,
a big,
it's certainly reviewing well.
yeah, big far cry from how Lightfall was perceived.
Yeah. We're seemingly on a trend here of sort of unproven studios. We've got Haven next.
I don't know. Is this the ex-Ubisoft person?
Yes, led by Jade Raymond, who, of course, was basically the pioneer for Assassin's Creed. They are working on Fair Games.
They're based in Seattle. News to me.
We create havens for endless wonder.
I feel, of all of the live service games we know about, I feel least confident about Fair Games.
They have the weirdest website. I'm trying to find. They have the weirdest website to navigate. They don't even say what they're working on their front page, which is a bit.
They are working
weird.
on Fair Games.
There we go. Yeah, Fair Games.
Which is the seemingly generic squad-based.
It looks so generic.
Like at least Concord. I know Concord has taken some flack in terms of being like ripping off Overwatch and or Guardians of the Galaxy, but at least they're going for something. Whereas if you had shown me Fair Games' trailer and told me it was a Ubisoft game, I'd believe you. Which technically makes sense because it's Jade Raymond, which is ex-Ubisoft.
Mm-hmm.
But there was nothing in that trailer or that I've heard about this game that makes me think it's going to have anything unique going for it, really.
Yeah,
honestly, I'm kind of feeling D on this one.
The last post on their Twitter is from May 30th last year.
Yeah, which would have been Showcase.
I don't know if we should judge based on when they last tweeted.
No, you're not saying you should, but I'm saying it's an indicate. It's another. I'm using it to demonstrate a point that they haven't shown anything about the game since we last saw it over a year ago.
Yeah. So I think D is probably pretty safe currently.
Yep.
No shade to Jade Raymond, of course. She's a very prominent figure, but
no,
gotta show us something interesting.
What did she work on?
Show us something interesting.
I know she worked on Assassin's Creed, but like, which Assassin's Creed? I'm looking.
Assassin's Creed, like from the start.
Oh, she created Assassin's Creed. That is significant. Yeah. Oh, and Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
She worked on Battlefront 2.
That's obviously less shiny part of her track record, but
so she did not do all the Assassin's Creed games, but okay, sorry.
Housemarque. Yeah, not all the Assassin's Creed, just the
original trilogy and Altair.
Housemarque.
Okay. What's your argument here, Sam?
So I'm just going to say where I put them flat out. I'd put them between Gorilla and Bluepoint. I think that I think they're definitely not below A, certainly. I would say that Housemarque, Returnal was certainly like a breakout moment for them. I've loved plenty of their games that they put out in the past. Next Machina, I love Resogun, Dead Nation, but Returnal was the turning point for them. I think that they've got the caliber and the quality of their titles, but I think that Returnal was such a gear shift for them that they kind of, not that I don't have faith, but I need to see what their next big thing is, what that looks like, what's the scope, the scale, the genre, the whatever.
I'm also,
and then
sorry,
that could surpass the gear shift that Guerrilla did from Killzone to Horizon. That would be my argument.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned that, Returnal only did a 500,000 copies. That Housemarque is making quality content. I'm concerned about, I guess this doesn't speak to their quality as a studio, but I'm talking about in terms of longevity. If they don't rack up their sales numbers, I don't know if Sony closes it. Like, if they get 500,000 sales again on their next project, that's a critical success, but it's not selling much at all. I hope that doesn't endanger the studio's existence. That doesn't affect this studio. I'm just talking about as a general sentiment.
Sure.
Because they're well beloved by the enthusiast gaming community, but the general consumer doesn't really know they exist, unfortunately. So
well, lucky we're not the general consumer.
Right. That's not influencing their place in this list. I'm just saying I hope they survive.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel they're pretty safe, personally. But
I feel you're pretty safe. Mm-hmm.
I think that I would agree. I think that Returnal is a really incredible game. I think if they come with another game like that, I think that they could definitely be like lower end S or higher end A. But I think that I have not played anything else from Housemarque besides Returnal, so I need to see more from them for sure. But yeah, I'm happy to put them in between Bluepoint and Guerrilla. I think that's a great place for them.
Okay.
I think that's a little high, but I'll allow it.
You've been outvoted, Taylor. Sorry.
Oh, stop the count.
Okay, I feel this is going to be a spicy one. Media Molecule.
Oh God. So we had Little Big Planet and then Dreams.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Sam, is Sumo not on this list because Sony divested them?
Yes, yeah. Sumo's not a first-party studio.
But yeah, Sackboy.
I know, and also I didn't include Bungie because technically they're a separate entity. So
what? Sony owns them. I put them on
this
list.
but they're not like a first-party studio. They run independently.
Okay. All right.
I have a hot take.
Oh, okay.
On Media Molecule, I would right now put Media Molecule in D.
Wow. Well, right now, right. If you asked me this 10 years ago, I think you'd be a lot higher. You got Tearaway, you got Little Big Planet. It's right before the whole Dreams era.
That's the thing. I think that they spun their wheels with Dreams for so long and nothing really came of it. And I have the fear that what happened to places like Arcane is what happened to Media Molecule, where the devs that want to work on the games that the studio is known for were forced or had to continually work on something they didn't really want to work on. And now Media Molecule, certainly leadership wise, we know it definitely isn't the same studio. I worry that they might be kind of like a shell of their former selves. And I'm pretty sure I've said on No Limits that I think if it wasn't for the fact that they've won BAFTAs and stuff, they probably would have been closed by now.
They won BAFTAs for Dreams?
No, not for Dreams, for Little Big Planet. But I think that renown and award-winning stuff is what's kept them afloat personally.
I mean, I think I'll echo the sentiment that I think that Media Molecule has had good stuff, but I think that they haven't had good stuff for quite some time. Yeah. And we've seen nothing of what they're doing next. I think that they were really close to being closed. I mean, yeah, this wiki, Media Molecule was reportedly near being closed instead of London studio.
Yeah.
So like, I think that their heads were on the chopping block. So clearly they're not doing well. So yeah, I think that D is definitely the right answer. I will say I think that it should be above Haven.
Yes.
I thought they should be at sea behind Bend, because the talent at Media Molecule that made their past great projects, I have to imagine at least some of that is still there.
Yeah, but what are they doing? Like,
I
are
don't
they
know.
doing Dreams too? Because then, like,
Do we know what they're developing?
no.
They're
No.
just still maintaining Dreams.
All the
Dreams is
speculation
dead.
that we've gotten, Dreams they've ceased development on, and they did a while ago. The only speculation we've got is from a former higher up who left like several years ago, but he still obviously has connections, and he has anecdotally said that from what he understands, the next game from Media Molecule is going to be far more of a game than a tool set like Dreams.
Then a tool set, live service,
Little Big Planet kind of stuff.
smorgasbord.
See,
Okay.
so but then, like, let's say that they do come out with another Little Big Planet, then they're competing with Asobi.
Asobi, yeah. Dude, Asobi has been passed that baton to make the family-friendly platformer for the PlayStation company.
Yeah, so Asobi's already taken over that. So what's, are we just going to get two? Because I don't think we even need to. I think that, I think Asobi's seems like they're going to hit it out of the park. So
unless they
you can't really bring back Sackboy, right? Because then that again would be competing with Astro.
Well, I mean, they could bring back Tearaway, a Little Big Planet, if they wanted to. I mean, I know it would be they could bring back Tearaway. Maybe they make some. Well, no, then it'll be competing with Astro.
Yeah, they're in a really weird spot, man.
I think that they'd have to move into more of like an indie space where they're not like that, like family friendly game. They're just doing something like cute and fun. But then it's like, how many years have they been working on this game now, right? Because Dreams came out in 2020. Right?
Apparently, they haven't been working on whatever this is very long, because they only, as far as we know, recently is like last year or year and a half, gotten the green light for whatever this next project is. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
Life is strange.
I'm not confident in them personally.
Yeah, I'm not either. Not that it would, like, I would be really bummed if Media Molecule closed, but they're also in such a weird spot that, like, what do they, like, I would not even understand how to begin to navigate out of this if I was like some sort of leader in this situation.
Because like what you said, Bree, in terms of them maybe going more indie or smaller titles, I kind of feel like they've got Asobi for the family-friendly angle internally, and if we've seen anything from Sony over the past 5 years, it's that for the smaller, more interesting indie, arty, experimental games, they just do second-party deals. That they don't need to manage a team internally to do that.
I mean, I think if they did something like It Takes Two, like, I think that would be fine.
Yeah, it's just whether the Media Molecule as it exists currently is capable of that, right? That's the big question.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that one.
Sorry, Media Molecule.
All right, S.
So that, we don't need to ask this question.
The best studio of PlayStation.
Personally, I think they're C. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'd have two friends that work there now.
Easy question. For audio listeners, we just put Insomniac at S tier. Obviously, carrying the PS5 on their back. Arguably the crown jewel right now for Sony, so there's no real question there.
Yeah, and I also think that like I mean, from what I've seen, it doesn't seem like they overwork their employees from what we've seen, right? Like, so it seems like they just like really have like a good studio culture where they're able to steadily put out content without like burning out their employees.
There is something in the water over there, clearly.
Yeah, because like when I last talked to my friend, he said that he would work there for as long as he possibly could.
Yeah.
So he loves it.
Yeah.
So
and you would hope if it's somehow replicatable, which it must be somehow, that they just take whatever culture or ethos or pipeline or workplace stuff that they've got at Insomniac and just mandate that across their other studios. Because can you imagine a Sucker Punch or a Naughty Dog with the output capacity of Insomniac? It's like, Jesus, man, that would be insane.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't be a thing that is solely exclusive to Insomniac, that they are the only developers that will be capable of it. So I would hope that people in Sony know what Insomniac are capable of and are like, other teams, can we try and figure out a way of getting at least closer to that? God love them. God bless.
Mm-hmm.
Neon Koi. Nothing really to show from this team. They used to be Savage. They renamed to Neon Koi. They are the internal mobile game team. We haven't seen anything from them. No projects have been announced or anything. So I think that it's only really fair that they are at the bottom of D. We have no idea of the caliber of the devs. We have no track record, no announced project to peruse through.
I have no feelings on Neon Koi. I will say I love their logo. Their logo is really
Very nice.
cute.
Yeah.
Their website is colorful.
All the important stuff. Yeah.
They have a funny pun on their website for their job listings. It says "Join the pond."
Okay, well that's S tier then. That's totally
Yeah.
S tier. Yeah.
Yeah. Based on mobile alone, I would put them in D.
Yeah.
Like the word mobile is like such a red flag now, and I feel
Yeah.
bad for it. But what can you do?
Yeah. Any thoughts on Neon Koi, Taylor? Or are we good to move on?
Mm-mm.
No. San Diego, of course. MLB.
Drawn
That's
to death.
basically it.
You don't remember Drawn to Death? Huh? Anyway, Little Big Planet karting. Okay.
Oh yeah,
I
so all the
Put
classics.
San Diego personally like C.
No. Nope. Maybe it was a hot take. I would put them no lower than B. Honestly, maybe bottom of A. And I'm saying this because we underestimate the reach of these putting out a constant quality sports title. And MLB The Show has a reputation of being the most consumer-friendly, popular sports game on the consoles.
I also really don't care about that game. Like even kind of.
I know, but people who do care, they make a quality MLB video game.
This is our tier list. And in my tier list, they would get knocked off the tier list.
No lower than B. MLB. No lower than B is my vote.
I'm with Taylor. I think below Fire Sprite personally, but I think B.
You think that they have more potential than Bend?
Well,
I'm not talking about potential. I'm talking about what they've made over the past.
I'm certainly not looking at the potential side for San Diego. I'd be very interested in seeing what else they could do if they.
The Uncharted project is rumored to be with them, right?
Yeah. So maybe, but I think that in terms of like reliability, quality of product, there haven't. Not that I pay attention, but I never heard of one of the MLB games just pooping the bed and being terrible as of late.
Yeah, but none of us are playing that.
No, but then only one third of us. Only 1/3 of us are playing Guerrilla games.
That's not true. I play Guerrilla games.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. I think that the dependability, the reliability, the consistency of the studio does elevate them above Bend, because Bend has been inconsistent, even if the potential for a great new IP is technically there.
Right. And the reasoning I'm using for San Diego is I'll be using that kind of reasoning on steroids when it comes to polyphony. But anyway, we can get there when we'll get there.
Boop, boop. Naughty Dog.
Yes. Above Insomniac.
No way.
Yeah.
Nope. No, not above Insomniac.
Okay. You guys don't have to argue why you think that they would not be above Insomniac.
Because as of over the past, if it was 2013, if it was before the year of 2018, I would agree with you. But since Spider-Man has hit the scene, I think Insomniac, in terms of, I think right now, Insomniac has shown they're making excellent video games at a faster rate on a more consistent basis. Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2. I mean, these are like all highlights of the PS5 generation over the past and the end of the PS4 generation. So that's why I think right now they're above Naughty Dog. And since
But
The
I
Last
don't
of
think
Us
that
2,
like the speed of how fast you can make games is like.
you're right. It isn't, but the fact that they can make games that are this good at the rate we're getting them is, in the modern day of how expensive and time-consuming game development is frankly unparalleled, which I think says something about how Insomniac runs their studio compared to Naughty Dog at the current time.
Sam?
I mean, I would agree with Taylor that this is the order that they are in currently. I think that undeniably, like obviously critically, certainly, but generally, Naughty Dog games are of a higher quality than Insomniac titles. Not necessarily by drastic amounts, but by a good amount. I think that just if we're talking about everything, all of the different factors right now, Insomniac does elevate above Naughty Dog, whether we're talking about, that there are legitimate, I don't think that they're true, but there are legitimate concerns from a number of people that suggest that there is a potential that we don't see a Naughty Dog game from them this generation, a game from Naughty Dog this generation, which is like, that's wild.
That's not true. We got all the remasters and remakes.
What you know what I mean, which is pretty crazy considering that the entire Uncharted original trilogy and The Last of Us all came out on PS3. So it's like, obviously things have changed, the scope and the quality of the games have increased, but still we are seeing so little of Naughty Dog so infrequently that even when they do drop, and they're almost certainly bangers when they do, I think that from the quantity, the frequency of the output, the ability to still create very high quality, well-reviewed games that are incredibly fun and sell very well profitably for the studio, for the corporation. I think that hard carries Insomniac. I think that I would the argument I would make is that I would prefer Naughty Dog to make slightly less excellent games at the rate that Insomniac does than the other way around. I'd be perfectly happy if Naughty Dog were putting out games of maybe smaller visual fidelity, but less visual fidelity or scope or whatever, but we got them more often.
I strongly disagree with that. I think that they should be releasing games on whatever schedule they think is appropriate for the game that they're making. And I think that they should make the game to their vision. And if that means that it takes longer to come out, then it does.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I also don't want to only be able to play like 4 more Naughty Dog games before I die,
Hey, if that's what we get, that's what we get.
Hey, I'll take what I can get. But I think that in terms of placement of studio, the prestige that Naughty Dog holds right now doesn't quite outweigh just the unstoppable train that Insomniac has been steamrolling through.
You guys, I understand that Insomniac Games is incredible. Like, I think that like they are doing great things over there. They obviously have a really great culture. They have an insane history with like Spyro, Ratchet and Clank, Resistance. Like they have this like really big depth of like history, of like legacy, all of that stuff. I understand. But when we're talking about like quality of games and like not only like quality of games, but potential. Like, I'm not looking for like how often am I playing this game, right? I'm looking for like what am I enjoying more? What do I love more? And for me, like, I love Crash Bandicoot. I love Jack. I love Uncharted. I love Last of Us, right? So when we're comparing like each individual game, like if you're comparing game by game, like Insomniac versus Naughty Dog, I think Naughty Dog wins every time, right? Last of Us Part 2 compared to like the newest Spider-Man 2, right? Like I think that Last of Us 2
Oh,
for me would win.
that's a hot take. Bree, you didn't finish Last of Us 2 yet?
No,
Do
and
you,
I still would
well,
pick it.
wait. You gotta
And I
finish.
would still pick it over Spider-Man.
I don't know if you can say that without finishing. The Last of Us 2 is so divisive because of the last third of the game.
That's totally fine. Even if the last third of the game is garbage, I still would pick it. The thing is that like The Last of Us is telling a story that I think is really powerful and I think is really interesting. And it's not to say that like the Spider-Man games aren't interesting, but it's also telling a superhero story, right? That's been told a million times.
Wait. Spider-Man 2 flipped the comics on its head when it came to its story
But I
without
don't read the
spoilers.
comics. And the
All
general
right.
consumer doesn't.
Well, that's
If we're going to argue for
true.
the general consumers.
That's true, but I think the general consumer still would not have expected Spider-Man 2's plot to play out like it did. At all. Really.
Listen, I'm clearly not going to win this, but personally, I think that Naughty Dog is, for me, higher than Insomniac. I enjoy those games way more than I enjoy the Spider-Man games, but that's also, I do still love Insomniac, to be clear.
All right, fair enough.
I
Well,
would
Go ahead.
Taylor, go.
When Insomniac makes the next Resistance, that's really narratively compelling. Maybe that script will be flipped, Bree. Who knows?
Maybe. I would say that like right now, Insomniac are more important to Sony than Naughty Dog are.
But we're not making Sony's tier list, right?
That's
no,
true.
But I still think that it's one of the factors that plays into where these developers rank against one another. It's what they are providing to the portfolio. How are they bolstering it? I think that.
Well, then I would say that like there's a good chance that Naughty Dog's making them way more money, especially with the TV show.
Right, but we're also talking about games.
Right? But we're also talking about the studios.
But we're also talking about Insomniac working with Spider-Man and Wolverine and all of these things.
Yeah, but they're not pulling the money from the other Spider-Man stuff. And Naughty Dog is getting money.
Sure. Well, I mean, technically, Spider-Man is partially owned by Sony, so they are raking in the money from Spider-Man. But anyway, I would argue that right now the IP that Insomniac is working with is mainstream-wise on a global scale, probably just because of Spider-Man, more valuable to the overall PlayStation portfolio than Naughty Dog is. That's not to diminish the impact and obviously the expanded global appeal of The Last of Us, certainly after the show. But I think that whilst Naughty Dog might have I don't know, actually. Naughty Dog might have more name recognition, maybe, right now. But I would say that the wind is shifting on that a little bit, where Insomniac and maybe another team that we'll talk about is getting more and more well-known. But I think that the next time Insomniac shows a game, not from me, there will be a bigger global celebration to see what's next from them properly than a new IP from
doing
Naughty Dog.
Franchises, right? Naughty Dog is kind of forging their own path.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot to be said for like being as popular as they are with their like doing their own thing completely.
But I also think that Naughty Dog have faltered in recent years, where
Really?
even if it's just an optical problem, where they are just re-releasing a game for the third time and remastering a game that came out 2 years ago
Do you
And
think that that's in their control? I'm not saying it is or isn't, but
well, I think that opens up a whole different course of discussion. I would say, though, that even just Neil Druckmann has been on record multiple times saying that they have carte blanche with Sony and can do whatever they want. Now, that doesn't mean that they aren't going to be maybe like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Can you do this? Can you get a native PS5 port of Last of Us 2 ready for the show? That certainly is happening, those discussions. But I would, at least from what Neil and other parts of Naughty Dog have suggested, they have far more autonomy than maybe any other studio under PlayStation, which could be argued is indicative of the quality and the trust and whatnot, which is undoubtedly true. But I also think that, you know, even if they were mandated to make factions, that hung over them for so long, and then they've cancelled it, and now not again, it could just be an optical thing as opposed to the actual physical truth. There is a concern of like, well, they've wasted so much time and all we've got is games from them that we've already seen twice, 3 times, or, you know, a couple of times. Are we going to be waiting 4 or 5 years to get the next game from them? I don't think we are. I hope not. But it's like, I think that the uncertainty of when we're going to see them next and what it's going to be and what's actually happening in the studio and what's happened over the past couple of years, that uncertainty is not necessarily fully like broken down the trust and faith. But I think there has been a little shaking of confidence that undoubtedly the talent and the quality is still going to be there. It's just sort of like, oh, what have you been doing the past few years? I'm not really sure. Cooking, undoubtedly, but it's like until we see that and they're reassured that no, everything is slap bang as it was, I think that does just, I'm saying it's close, but that's why I would say Insomniac is above them currently.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to win the argument, so, but yeah.
We should sword fight about it.
We can consider them tied. We'll do that.
It's okay. I'm okay with you guys putting Insomniac
together
above.
Okay, so Sucker Punch.
At the worst, A tier, but I think you're probably going to put it at the tail end of S tier. Actually, wait, let me back up. I'm going to say Sucker Punch is top of A.
I mean, listen, I don't want to get crazy about it, but Ghost of Tsushima is probably one of the best games ever made. And I'm not talking about like one of my favorite games ever made. I'm saying like, I think that top to bottom, I think that Ghost of Tsushima is one of the best games ever made. I think that like the way that they incorporate a lot of the themes diegetically into the game with like the way that you get your health leveled up is by, you know, like I think it's that one's like the springs, but whatever. Regardless, like the way that they build each piece into a bigger part of the world rather than gamifying everything, like they thought of every single piece throughout this game, like the way that you interact with animals to do certain things, the way that you like the way that the game looks visually incredible. Like there's nothing quite like running through Ghost of Tsushima and seeing all of like the flower petals kind of drift through the wind, and like it's such an aesthetic and an ambiance. And yeah, I personally feel like this is again one of the best games ever made.
I would say the only thing, and this is slightly unfair, but I would say the only real critique that I can throw at Sucker Punch is they're a one-team studio where they are only working on one project at a time, which isn't a bad thing inherently, but it means that, again, similar to Naughty Dog, the output is relatively staggered, you know, quite infrequent. And the quality is there, like with Naughty Dog. But I think that is the only real criticism that I can levy against Sucker Punch, because I would probably agree with you to a reasonable extent, Bree, that Ghost of Tsushima is just such an impeccable experience that I still think about relatively frequently. And we're obviously all salivating at the idea of a sequel coming within the next 12 months or so.
Still need to play Iki Island. Oh well.
You
I
do.
still need to get my damn ass off of Iki Island.
So I would be inclined like bottom of S.
I'm happy with that.
Yep, of course, the infamous games everyone loved, and Sly Cooper.
Damn right. Yeah. Yeah.
And Rocket Robot on Wheels
Excuse me?
Can't forget. Never forget.
from 1999.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish that they had another team so they could work on two projects consecutively. That would be awesome, just to see more cool stuff from them. But I think that as a single team studio, they are crushing it. So bottom of S. Polyphony.
Like I said, you guys might think I'm crazy for this. I would put Polyphony in A tier. I'd put them at the bottom of A. I think they're PlayStation's PlayStation's unsung hero in terms of reach. I mean, in terms of mainstream reach for a game, Gran Turismo is always in the top 5 best-selling games for nearly every PlayStation console, and they put out a quality racing game every gen for the console, and because of how quality, it's at least a very good racing game every time it releases, and its sales are wide sweeping. So they're just the workhorse when it comes to the racing genre for the company. I think they deserve at the very least an A tier designation because of that consistency. So,
Bree, do you have a car in this race?
Yeah, I do actually. I really
shit.
strongly dislike racing games.
Okay.
And since this is our tier list, I don't care about their games. I have no feelings about them releasing another one.
So where do you want them, Bree?
Personally, I would put them in like C.
Ooh.
Could we compromise and put them on top of B?
Sam needs to give his opinion too. So
I also don't really care about Gran Turismo, and never have, never will. But I would make the same argument that I would for San Diego, right? In terms of consistency, reliability, quality of the product. Gran Turismo 7 stumbled a little bit out of the gate, but
They
as
fixed
far
it
as I
up.
can tell, it's fixed it up. Yeah, obviously apparently I haven't tried it myself, obviously, because I wouldn't buy the game because I'm not interested in it. But the VR support for GT7 is supposedly one of the best things you can do with a VR2.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
Not that counts for much, but it counts for something. I would feel pretty comfortable putting it top of B. I think that's where I'd land them, because I'd certainly care more about playing a Gran Turismo than I would about playing an MLB.
I think that that's too high as well, to be honest. I say we put San Diego D.
San Diego at D?
Yeah. You've gone down. You said C a minute ago.
No. I'm just kidding. I was just messing with you guys.
I know.
Top of B. Is that a go? Okay, compromise.
I think middle.
We'll go middle, above San Diego. We'll put it there for now.
They do have a dope logo though.
Asobi.
A. Astro Bob was great, but what else have they done?
Yeah, it's all just playroom stuff, right?
Let me just look at their.
I think that they're gonna squeak into S here.
No, they're not. They haven't released enough.
Not yet.
In a couple months.
Sure.
Maybe in a couple
months.
months.
That's what I said.
So they did Astro's Playroom. They also did Rescue Mission. They did Rescue Mission, Astro's Playroom.
Is by far the best VR game ever. I'm saying it.
Better than Half-Life Alyx?
I haven't played Half-Life Alyx, but I
said PSVR.
can tell you that Rescue Mission is one of the most special experiences I've ever had in my entire life gaming. I'm especially with Astrobot coming out this September, I am very hardly considering pulling out the VR1 and doing a full 100% playthrough again of Rescue Mission.
You should.
I probably will.
You should.
I think the potential for Asobi is doing not a real hard carry, but a super hard carry right now, because I think that they've done great stuff. Everything they've put out has been pretty fun, if not excellent.
I'd say bottom of A, based on where they are right now, as well as the potential of this next game coming out.
Well, with the justification we use for Bluepoint is because they haven't released an original game, we put them below the others. So would you put them? I would put Asobi. Maybe this is a hot take. I would put Asobi above Housemarque.
I think that Housemarque and Bluepoint, as of right now, deserve to be higher than Asobi. I think that Demon Souls remake plus Returnal are both better than what has been released by Asobi so far. And I think that the potential is kind of what the potential of what this next game will do for them is what's even putting them in the A tier, right? Because if we just are talking about what they've already released, I think they'd be B, personally, for me.
Well,
I think I would argue that Rescue Mission alone gets them into A. But obviously that I'm the only one that can speak to that. But I would agree that if they're in A right now, they'd be at the bottom.
I agree with this where it is right now, and then I think that they will easily move into S after this.
Yes, in a couple of months we'll report back, and it's going to be up here.
This is acceptable. Okay. Nixes. I put him in A. I put him in everything they've remastered has been excellent. Yeah. Or unless maybe I don't have the complete log of their projects.
They've been pretty rock solid.
Oh wait, they worked on Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Avengers?
Yeah,
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. With all the PC side stuff and general
They
support.
only do ports.
Yeah, but they are the best at it. I think I would put... Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, I think I'd put him at below Asobi. They haven't done any original work, but they're a master class at porting other games.
Sam, how do you feel?
I would probably it's interesting. I would probably say B below Fire Sprite. Because I think that everything that Taylor said is true, that they are obviously vital for PlayStation right now with the PC push, and everything they've done port-wise has been pretty great. But if I look at Fire Sprite, for example, I would say that Fire Sprite, whilst everything that they've done hasn't been crazy well received, they've done a good amount of things of their own, whether it's Persistence or Call of the Mountain, if you want to include that would elevate them above just the port studio.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that porting isn't really I'm not saying that Nix's is bad, to be very clear, but porting is not necessary.
Oh, I say it is. In today's market, for Sony for these studios to all exist in the capacity they do, I'm making the argument Sony's PC sales have become important and are becoming increasingly more important to their bottom line and to funding these studios.
I don't agree with that, because they have not been selling well on PC.
I thought they were.
They the games that are selling on PC are I don't even think making top 10 on the Steam.
Helldivers 2. I guess that's an exception. That wasn't ported by Nix's.
Yeah, that's an exception. And also, like you said, not Nix's. And again, it's not to say that I don't think that Nix's is important. I do think that they're important, but I agree with Sam that I think that they should be middle of B, because I just don't think that we can argue that because remaking something is Bluepoint is totally different ballpark than porting something to another platform.
You're right. I guess I overestimated how much they sell on Steam. So they have Horizon Zero Dawn was leaked to have sold over 3 million. God of War 2018 2 million. Days Gone 1.7. Spider-Man Remaster 1.3. Miles Morales 450K.
Yeah.
All right.
I've been convinced. I think I actually would maybe put them bottom of B.
I'm fine with that, except for the fact that I don't like the other two in B, but that's fine.
God.
Because I would argue that MLB and Gran Turismo are potentially more important than the PC porting, even though that is going to be vital to Sony more and more going forward.
All right.
XDev.
I don't remember
this
that.
is like just the support team that encompasses basically every Sony first party release. They are a global team comprised of various different subsidiaries. They touch basically everything. So it's much the same as Nix's, really. They haven't done anything of their own, really. But it's I still wanted to include it because I think that it's an important enough aspect of PlayStation's studio portfolio, an output capacity, that it was worthy of mention.
I mean, yeah, I think that based on what they do and how important that their help is to the teams, I think that like we could easily put them, like, I would say just above Nix's.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I think that this support is more vital than porting to PC.
Because XDev also expands out to like the third party teams and third and second party teams that they work with.
Mm-hmm.
So they collaborate on things like Final Fantasy 16.
They're working with Quantic
like
Dreams.
Yeah, exactly. So they're arguably as, if not more important than Nix's, like you suggest. That's where I would probably put them.
Slander. I don't know enough about XDev, so whatever.
Okay. Nice and easy. Santa Monica Studio.
Below Naughty Dog, above Sucker Punch in S tier.
Sam?
Any arguments, Bree?
Yeah, I have arguments, but what are your thoughts?
I would put them in the same spot. Again, you wouldn't like it, Bree. I could make an argument that they could go above Naughty Dog right now, but because of how important God of War as an IP is, and the potential of Cory Barlog, yada yada yada. But I think that realistically, Santa Monica have elevated. If you were to ask me name three PlayStation studios, I would say Insomniac, Naughty Dog, and Santa Monica. So I think that for me, that would qualify Santa Monica being in that top three of S tier.
I think I'm okay with Santa Monica going above Naughty Dog. My reasons being kind of what Sam is saying. So one, if we're talking about like just pure potential, so we're ignoring everything that's happened historically. We have the Cory Barlog game that sounds like it's probably going to be pretty dope. And we have more of the God of War stuff, which there's not much else I want from the video games industry than to play more of God of War. Like, I want to know more of that story. I want to know what's going on with Atreus.
I still need to play God of War 1 and 2 in Valhalla. God, that's also on the list.
So I am like, personally, I think that like the potential of like Santa Monica moving forward as compared to unknown Naughty Dog franchise that we know literally nothing about, and then the next Last of Us, which is a known quantity, but again, I'm still more interested in God of War than I am in like the next Last of Us, which is to say, like, we're just comparing like S tier to S tier, right? Like these are both like these are just barely reaching above each other. But then when we also include like the other stuff, like I think that the story for God of War is incredible. I think that I really enjoyed my experience with it. So I think that like when you combine those two things, I'm okay with them going above Naughty Dog. If this was my personal list, I don't know if I would order it that way or not, but I am okay with it.
Yeah. And I think like God of War 2018 alone was such a milestone moment, not only for the studio, but I think just for the industry in general, in terms
I would
of
agree.
AAA gameplay and storytelling and technical prowess and stuff. And I think that it's influenced countless things since that game released. So, yeah, that would be my argument for it going above Naughty Dog. It feels weird, but like when I lay it out on the table, I'm kind of like, I don't know. Right now, Santa Monica, Naughty Dog can easily come back and steal the crown, and I'm sure that they will. But I think as of right now, Santa Monica excites me as a studio more than Naughty Dog does.
I really want to know what their projects they're working on are. I really
What
hope we learn about
Corey
that
is
in the
working
next
on?
showcase.
Corey, call me. What are you working on?
I would expect that we'll get an announcement. I don't know how big or developed the announcement will be.
Can you imagine if they are doing like what it's like rumored, like a sci-fi game? I would be so excited.
Yeah, that is
Please don't
all
be
the
first-person
indications.
shooter though. I'm really bad at first-person shooters.
All the indications suggest it's a sci-fi game, so which would make sense because that was the game that they were working on post God of War Ascension that got cancelled.
Dude, give me Interstellar. Give me Interstellar,
Well,
the video game. All right.
No,
Just
but
do it.
nobody likes Interstellar.
Okay.
Whoa.
You were contesting
Sorry, Bree. Santa Monica's going above Naughty Dog now. That's
the best sci-fi film.
I said I was fine with that.
The best
I
sci-fi
said
film over the
It's not
past
letting me
25
change it.
years.
It's not letting me change it. That's disgusting.
Just call Sting. Just call Sting.
Okay, hang on. This will not stand. This cannot stand. Why are you doing this? What? It's not letting me change S tier.
This is what happens when you throw a fit.
Can you change A tier?
Yeah, I can. That's so strange. Oh, there we go. Wait. Okay. No. Okay.
Oh no.
All is right with order. Finally.
I said that I was okay with that.
Right.
I know you are.
Valkyrie.
This is a weird one to end on, but it is another
It
support team.
Valkyrie Entertainment. They're based in Seattle too. Interesting.
There's literally hundreds of studios up there, Taylor.
Sure, there are.
Yeah.
That's part of why I was wanting to move to Seattle area, is because like there's so many studios up there.
Yeah. I think Valkyrie, from my knowledge, has had like a decent track record. But it's far more low key than any of the support.
They did support on God of War 2018, Ragnarok, Infamous Second Son, Infamous 2, 2012, Twisted Metal, and Sorcery.
Yeah.
If not, I feel like they just haven't done too much.
I would put him at, where do we put XDev? I mean, I put him below Nix's at B.
I would put them above Nix's and below XDev.
Wow. Well, no, I disagree. Nix's has done everything Nix's does on PC ports turn out amazing. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know enough about. This is the same thing with XDev. I don't know enough about.
I think that support is more important than porting.
Is support more important than porting?
Well, without support, the game may not even exist.
Yeah, but the counter to that be if Nexus is this good at porting, surely they could be that good at support, but we don't have that track record yet.
Sam?
I mean, this is certainly the range that they're going in, right? Surprisingly difficult. I would say that I will allow some degree of my own ignorance to play a part here, but I would say that not that this is necessarily indicative of anything, but I think in terms of relevance and potency in the portfolio, they would be under Nix's for me. Not to say that diminishes any of their work compared to somebody like XDev, but XDev is far more prolific. And Nix's, again, if we're including like potential and stuff, the the reality is that PC is going to become more and more relevant to Sony moving forward. So they could easily expand further, not necessarily up the ranks, but along the B tier more. So I would put them beneath Nyx's, I think. But I don't really have a horse in the race, to be honest.
I'll race your horse.
Please do.
Toph, can you stop with the commentary?
So what are we thinking?
I already told you. I think it's in the middle, but it sounds like both of you guys would put them under Nyx's. So do that.
Yep. Do it. Do it. Nyx stole their logo from Evo. Anyway.
Well, there we have it.
Screenshot.
Screenshot. I can save this. I will also probably over the coming days, once this episode goes live, post this into the No Limits Discord channel.
Dude, what if we do a yearly thing from now on where it's like tier list checker?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we'll be doing that.
Because we all know that Asobi is going to be up here this time next year.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we will need to update.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe Santa Monica will come out with a crazy game, and we'll be like, "Holy cow! Everybody else move out of S tier, make room."
Yeah.
Dude, what if Haven comes
maybe,
out with...
Maybe Naughty Dog slips further when Ghost 2 comes out, you know? Just saying.
Off has a lot to say.
Just saying.
Good work, guys.
Good job, team. Well, wow, this might be the longest episode.
Probably, but I'm having fun.
I'm having fun, yeah. All right, well, where the hell is my mouse? Okay. Thank you.
Where the hell are my pants?
We have questions, so we'll need to get to those next time. I think we'll have to call it here.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
do we have anything that's relevant to the tier? I think Kyle left one comment. Hold on.
I'm pulling it up as we speak. If this
oh god, that's a lot. That's a lot of questions. I think it's Kyle said he thought Insomniac was the clear number one.
Just to quote him, he says, "I think Insomniac is the clear number one. They've been carrying this generation on their back as far as first party goes, and they are the most consistent studio they have."
Yes.
Clearly, my crazy partners agree with you. So,
and that is not to diminish the consistency of other teams, but in terms of consistency of release, track record, frequency, quality, all of it culminates together as a package where Naughty Dog falters on the frequency. Not that I'm espousing rushing their games. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that for the games that Naughty Dog want to put out, they take so much longer. But Insomniac is putting out excellent games at a much faster clip. So in terms of delivering consistently for Sony, that makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it looks like that's the only one that's like especially relevant to this discussion. We will definitely get to everybody else's questions. We do not ignore questions. However, we have been going really long and we've talked a lot. So,
are we doing a post show? That probably best to do the post show next week and the week after.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, guys.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. You can find us on YouTube, Patreon, Discord. Links are on the show notes. Where can people find you, Bree?
You can find me at Fabulous Brianna, FABULASTBREANNA.
Sam?
Anywhere and everywhere at Sam Heaney, HEANEY.
All right. You can find me at Mr. Carter 9, MRCARTERNINE on PlayStation. I probably haven't been online in a long time, but you can also find me on PC as I forgot my PC usernames. So that's great. Yeah. Until next time.